Hey, what's up everyone? It's the Fantasy Football Guy back here with my third video of my playlist of the top 10 rankings, and this is the top 10 PPR tight ends. So number one, we have Gronkowski. No one else is going to occupy the first spot. Gronk apparently is coming back as healthy as ever this year, and his knee and his back, everything is apparently pretty good. And so that would mean that, especially with Edelman out, Gronk will get even more touches, even more touchdowns. And you still got to temper your expectations a bit. But at the same time, Gronk is the best tight end in the league right now, and possibly even to ever play the game. So that's why his projections are 80 receptions for 1,200 yards and 12 receiving touchdowns. At the second spot, we have Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce kind of came on the scene a couple of years ago, and last year was actually the number one tight end in fantasy, in PPR at least. And he had over 1,000 yards last year as well. And so this year, I think with Spencer Ware out, Kareem Hunt will be a beneficiary of a lot of targets, but also with Macklin out and not on the team anymore, Kelce will get a bunch of targets, even more than last year, even with Hunt in the game and Conley and Tyreek Hill. That's my projection is 85 receptions for 1,100 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. Now, at the number 3 spot, we have Greg Olsen. So Greg Olsen is my version of like Mr. Reliable. He's not going to put up like 200 yards and a touchdown in a random game, or 50 yards and nothing, or 70 and nothing. He's going to consistently get you, for example, 15 a touchdown, 16 a touchdown, 70 with 7 catches, something along those lines. So Greg Olsen's pretty consistent, and even though Cam Newton right now is projected to play week 1, he's injured, but that does not mean anything because even if Derek Anderson plays, Greg Olsen's going to get targeted heavily, which is why his projection is 82 receptions for 1,050 receiving yards and 8 receiving touchdowns. So number 4, we have Jordan Reed. So Jordan Reed, in my opinion, is actually the second best fantasy tight end if he plays all 16 games. Problem is, he never has and probably never will, which is unfortunate because he is a very, very talented tight end. With Jamison Crowder, Terrell Pryor, and Josh Doctson his only competition for targets, and over 200 targets gone from Pierre Garçon to Sean Jackson, he should have a very good season when healthy. That's why his projection is 80 receptions for 950 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. He's a touchdown magnet, guys. And next, number 5, we have none other than the ex-Saint, Jimmy Graham. So Jimmy Graham was not great in his initial start in Seattle. He struggled for sure, but last season, after about 4 or 6 so-so games, he came on and really, really showed that he is still that same tight end he was in New Orleans. And if he can keep that up, Jimmy Graham could even have a chance to be the number 2 or number 3 tight end because he could easily surpass what I projected for him. And my projection for him is 70 receptions for 900 receiving yards and 8 receiving touchdowns. Now, at the number 6 spot, we have Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph is similar to Greg Olsen in my opinion. He's kind of like a more reliable, not a super sexy name, but he will put up some stats. Last year, for example, he was a top 5 tight end in fantasy, which a lot of people, unless you had him or you're really paying attention, might have just not even thought he was a good tight end. Or for a casual fantasy player, you might not even thought about to pick him up or trading for him or even drafting him. I didn't last year either. And so that's my projection is 72 receptions for 800 receiving yards, and again, a touchdown magnet with 10 receiving touchdowns. Number 7, we have Delanie Walker. So Delanie Walker has been consistent now for about 3 or 4 years. He's had pretty solid campaigns, hit 1,000 yards or more at least once. And Delanie Walker is in an offense with Mariota that, aside from Rashard Matthews, Eric Decker, and now with Corey Davis, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of competition, but Delanie Walker is also the most consistent red zone threat aside from Eric Decker on that team. And Rashard Matthews did steal touchdowns, but that still leaves a lot of touches for Delanie Walker, which is why he should get 65 receptions for 850 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. Number 8, Zach Ertz. So Zach Ertz is a kind of player that excites me every single year, but always lets me down, usually due to injury. Zach Ertz fits perfectly into the Carson Wentz offense. Short, shallow routes. He's good. He can run after the catch. He can do just about everything that Carson Wentz wants. And between Torrey Smith and Olsen Jeffrey, Zach Ertz should have a lot of space in the middle to operate, even with Darren Sproles in the backfield or Smallwood catching balls. Zach Ertz should get 75 receptions for 800 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns this upcoming season. So number 9, we have Hunter Henry. So Hunter Henry last year actually had a good season. He had 8 touchdowns, I believe. But Hunter Henry, the thing with San Diego is this. Last year, San Diego was trying their hardest to get Antonio Gates that touchdown record. He's only one away now. And so, from a San Diego executive himself stated that Hunter Henry likely would have had 12 to 15 touchdowns if they were not targeting Gates, which is why my projection is 55 receptions for only 650 receiving yards, but again, a large touchdown total and 10 receiving touchdowns. And number 10, we have Zach Miller. This is my wild card one. Hear me out here. With Cameron Meredith going down with injury, Jordan Howard is the only offensive threat, aside from possibly Kevin White. Who else does Chicago have? And like receiving wise, they have no one left except for Zach Miller, who even though he wasn't consistent, was the most proven receiver they have on that team. Now that Meredith is gone, I think that whether it's Trubisky or anyone, Zach Miller should be a top 10 tight end. I think he'll catch 60 balls this year for 700 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. So that's the end of the video, guys. I just want to thank you for watching. So like, comment, subscribe, and thanks a lot, guys. Peace.